Hi, today we will discuss about giving testimony. We are holding in Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 14, Lo sasek, a person may not try to expand his property by stealing and taking away from his fellow neighbor's land. Giving testimony with two witnesses, we will listen to them and we will do accordingly. If it's to require the transfer of money or punishments or the like, we listen to two witnesses. One witness, however, is not suffice and we cannot take his word. However, if Mr. A says that I lent money to Mr. B and Mr. B denies the allegations and then comes along one witness and says, yes, I saw Mr. A loan money to Mr. B. So true, his words are not strong enough that we can take out any money, but it will require Mr. B to make an oath. If you have two witnesses that come and give testimony, and then come another two witnesses and say the first set of witnesses are false, the Jewish court will look into these allegations and believe the second set of witnesses, and they will do to the first set of witnesses whatever they conspired against the fellow individual, and people will learn from here to give true testimony. If you go out to war, the Kohen that is anointed for war will talk to the Jewish people and tell them not to fear, and he uses the word Shema Yisrael, which Rashi explains that for the bare fact that the Jews say Shema Yisrael, which is a mitzvah to do so in the morning and the evenings, that alone will give them the merit that they will be victorious in their wars. He will tell them not to fear, and he will continue to say that if there is a person that built a house and has not yet inaugurated it, or there's a person that's planted a vineyard and he's not had its fourth year to be able to eat from those fruits in Jerusalem, or if a man has been engaged to a woman and not yet married her, they should step away from fighting in this war. And then the officers will continue to say that if there is any person over here that are weak-hearted and are fearful, they should also step away. Rashi explains that they are fearful from sins that they have. And the reason that the Torah has said that if someone built a house or got engaged or the like, also steps away is that like this, when anyone steps away for a sin, it's not going to be a public embarrassment that he sinned, because no one's going to know if it's because of sin or because maybe he's engaged or maybe he has a vineyard that he's not yet eaten from its fruit in Jerusalem. Today's Tanya, we discuss a verse in the Song of Moses, in the second to last Torah portion called Hazino. Moses describes God giving the Torah as Mimino Eish Das Lomo, that from God's right hand he gave the Jewish people a Torah written with fire. So right hand Kabbalistically represents to chesed, kindness. Fire Kabbalistically represents severity. So is the Torah kindness or severity? So to explain that, let's look at us. When we go ahead and learn Torah and do a mitzvah, we actually create that God would like to bless us with his kindness and give us his revelation of holiness. However, if God would just direct his kind revelation to us, we would cease as human beings. It is too high of a level for us to accept it as is. Therefore, there has to be this element of severity that will conceal and comprise that revelation of God that can be accepted to us as human beings. So that's why on one hand, it's truth, it's the kindness of God, the blessing of Torah, but on the other hand, for us to get that revelation, it has to be a little severity that it should be comprised, that we can receive it as we are. Today's mitzvah is, on the day of Shabbos, one should not walk out of a city more than 2,000 amos, which is approximately 3,000 feet. We discussed today about giving testimony. If you think about it for a moment, giving testimony is really on something that no one knows. Because giving something testimony, something that everyone knows, is no big deal. Giving some testimony on something that we will eventually know, also, we're going to know eventually what the truth is. Giving testimony on something that we have no idea, that's the real deal. It says in Isaiah, Ki atam eidai nu'um Hashem, that God refers to the Jewish people that they are giving testimony in this world about God. So there are different ways of how we as Jews give testimony of the existence of God in this world. We can logically say, I'm logically Jewish, meaning anything that's logically good in Judaism, that's what I do. So that is giving testimony of things that are kind of on the level that are already existing, because it's just the logic. Then there is the next level of testimony, and that is that I practice my Judaism also beyond logic, but I will decide which things I do, which things I don't do. That's like giving testimony on things that eventually will be revealed. Then there is the third and greatest level, that I am faithfully doing whatever the Torah would like me to do. Beyond no logic, I just do what God has told me to do. Once I do so, then I would bring in my logic and try to understand why God wants what He's asking from us. But I'm always ready to do whatever He says. That's the third level of total testimony for the words of God in this world. Thank you for listening, and wishing you a Shabbat Shalom.